Alrighty, hello every folks, and welcome to a quick little guide here on how to actually go about modding OneVision onto your PS Vita. So, first and foremost, if you've done the PSP before, it's going to be very similar, but if this is your first time doing this, it might seem more complicated than it really is. Okay, so let's get to it. First and foremost, go to the OneVision site, pick up the mod, and you will be given 3 files, namely the PSP game file, Datafix USA, Datafix Europe. Next thing, you are going to need your ROM. Now, whether you convert the version you got from the store, basically you can use this by transferring, you can get the Vita to transfer it over to your computer, and then you can convert it. You can potentially go and dump the original disc version, or, you know, if there's any other means, you just go ahead and do you. But what you need to know is that, yes, you want a raw version of that file. So, same old ISO format. And what you do is you go to the UMD Gen app. There's a link to this in the README file for OneVision, so we just go ahead and click on this. And then from here, we go ahead and open up our raw chicken. Obviously, it won't be named raw chicken. You name it to whatever you prefer, but either way, here we are. So, we go ahead and we open up the app, and we have this right here. So let's talk about what these different files do. First of all, PSP game is your actual mod file here. So what we want to do, click on PSP game, click on PSP game. There we go. We have one on each side. We go ahead and we take the icon here and we throw it in here. Yes, we want to replace the one that's in there. This is simply going to change it so that it shows up properly on your device. Next, you take your US directory, move it on in here. Yes, replace all, and there you go. Now, don't worry that this icon up here hasn't quite updated yet. That doesn't matter. This will update once it's done. Okay, so technically speaking, now the game is modded, but it's not saved, and it's not, it hasn't fixed one particular bug. So this is a bug that goes by the unfortunate name of the Sex Taco. Basically, it's if you've ever used the data install feature for Tactics Ogre. This was a feature that allowed the PSP 1000 to load it slightly faster. It is essentially an egregious amount of data that it takes to install the thing to your device in a format that it's completely not needed, but either way. So, what we want to do is go over here to this, and we want to find out which version you have. So if you have the USA version, it's going to be 10565. If you've got the European version, it's going to be 1500. And if you happen to be running anything else, like I believe it's 9001 or something, that is going to be the Japanese version, which is not compatible with the mod. But what we do at this point is we go ahead and take the appropriate version. We go to this. Once again, it's a PSP game file. We click on this. We see it says US directory. And then we go ahead and dump it onto there. Okay? So from here, all you got to do, you go to File, you go to Save As, and you save it as uncompressed wherever you'd like. And then, you know, we could save it over this other one. It typically will take about 2 to 5 minutes to save. I already have a copy of it right here, so we're just going to go ahead and leave that as is. Okay. So, you save it, it will change this icon to blue, and then you're all well and done with actually creating the thing. So, we have our file now made, but how do you get it onto the Vita? Well, you go into the Vita, you go over to your shell, your Vitashell, and then you open up this. So, couple of quick caveats to this bit right here. If you've just modded your Vita and you're not familiar with some of the quirks of doing so, you won't be able to see this folder right away. If you can't see it, there's 2 particular reasons why this may be. First of all, go into View, go to Show Hide, make sure hidden items are shown. However, that's only one half of the potential issue there. The second thing is if we go over here, if you go to Start, you go to Control Panel, you type in Hidden, and it will give you the option to manage whether or not it shows hidden files. But there's a weirdly named difference here. So like, for example, it says Hidden Files and Folders, and you can tell it to show hidden files and drives. But there's a second one down here that sometimes gets missed, and that's Hide Protected System Operating Files. It'll give you a warning if you click this, and so we go ahead and uncheck that, and now it'll show up here. It'll be PSPEMU. That's the one that we want. So we go into here, and it'll be just like the PSP if you've ever modded one. So right here, we go to our ISO, and we go over here, and we take our fried chicken file, and then we move it into here, okay? Now, I already have it in here. Basically, since I'm using bubbles, I just changed the file name to what I had in the last bubble, so it's permanently stuck as 99 instead of 1. Mostly because I'm just weirdly lazy about that one particular oddly specific thing. Don't worry about it. But either way, now it is, now you just move it into there. And then it's as simple as launching it on your Vita. Now, actually, the next step would be to make a bubble for it on your Vita. So you know what? Let's go ahead and get over some laziness right now. Alrighty, so here we are on the Vita itself. So first of all, if you wanted to just run it normally without doing anything different, what you would want to do is go over to the Adrenaline app, and this will allow you to run the Vita as if it was a PSP. This is going to be the most basic way to do it, and it'll end up just working just like a normal PSP. It is literally just inbuilt into the device already, so it, it'll emulate it pretty much perfectly. So you go down here. Please bear in mind, this is a weird exception in which, like, if you're like me and you use an Asian model, in this case, it would end up keeping the circle as your confirm button here. But if you're running a US device, then it wouldn't be anything to worry about. But anyway, you'd find it on your list. It would take you absolutely ages. But we're going to go ahead and not bother with all of that. We'll get out of here. But we want to make it a proper Vita game, right? So what we want to do is we'll go over to our bubble manager now. So it looks a little bit like this, the Adrenaline bubble manager. We click on this, and basically this allows us to make a custom whatever bubble of whatever we'd like. So we'll go ahead and accept that it's updated since the last time ages ago that I ended up using this. Hold on, let's let it finish updating. Okay, so at this point it will give you a list of all things that are available on your device, basically anything that Adrenaline is able to run. So for example, we just want to go find whichever copy of Tactics Ogre happens to have the blue logo on there. Should we go down to the very bottom, we'll see that we already have it created. So it's right here. But under the settings, you can change it to different colors. You can change it to different names. You can basically change a whole bunch of different things about it to be what you'd like. So again, based on whatever color you'd like for the background, based off whatever name you'd like it to have. So like if we wanted it to match the color, we would end up going for something like that. And then that would be that. You would tell it to make a bubble, and it'll go ahead and create the bubble. From there, once it's made, you just simply go down to it, you launch it as if it were any other game, and it will go ahead and launch for you. You can customize these launchers with whatever you'd like in there. Personally, I prefer to just keep the original PSP stuff. But yeah, it'll just end up working like normal. And that's about that. Also, by the way, bear in mind, if you're using that bubble option, it will already end up using Adrenaline. So if you wanted to use cheats for this, you wanted to use W or CW cheat codes, launching it from the bubble will mean that it's already active. So for example, if I were to go to the cheats right here, it would have all of those various types of cheats active by just holding select, and then it would give an option of all kinds of different modifiers. Now, why would you use cheats? We're not here to, do all kinds of filthy nonsense. Well, true, but you can do a lot of fun little things, like, for example, changing the way people look, have access to things you wouldn't normally have access to, and just kind of add all kinds of little challenge modes to it if that's what you would prefer. There's quite a few codes out there at this point. Again, mostly people use this for changing the way that certain characters look, as well as allowing something like, let's say right here, to change any character into a unique job, because one of the interesting functions of the One Vision mod is that you can actually turn any generic into a unique class, and they'll actually, instead of crashing the game, they'll have a unique look to them. So that's just a fun little thing to mess around with, but either way, all of that is entirely up to you. If you want to know how to set up the CW cheats there, that is something that you'd have to go and look up for yourself. But it's really as simple as just taking one directory and plopping it into your PSP EMU folder as well. It's the same old PSP system. So either way, that's about that. Y'all have a good one. Take care. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.